Well, it's that time when we are welcoming you to lead a program that is designed to assist you and me to live lives of impact and influence. In other words, making a difference in our generation and affecting those who enter our realms in a positive way. And we are happy and we salute Bishop Ending Klapo, who has made it possible for us to have this program. This program comes to you with compliments from Bishop N.D. Nklapo of God Never Fails Revival Church. But in this segment, we're dealing with issues of leadership. And I'm so excited as we continue with our series, the 7-part series, Resetting to Thrive in the New Normal. Resetting to thrive in the new normal. We have dealt with part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And those were respectively resetting your sanity, your sight, your stage, your sales, and your standards. And today we are dealing with part 6, resetting to thrive in the new normal, part 6. And that deals with reset your scales. Reset your scales. Before we get into that, let us read our recurring verse. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 3. And we read from the New Living Translation. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions, but the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. If you do not take precautions for the new normal, you will be punished by the new normal. You will suffer the consequences of not taking precautions, and the new normal becomes a dangerous place. It becomes an evil place. It actually becomes an extension of crisis. You think you had escaped the crisis that came with COVID-19 pandemic, that came with divorce, that came with recession, and now you find yourself in the new normal and you think it's gonna be okay. It will not be okay if you do not reorganize yourself for the new normal. It will not be okay if you do not reset for the new normal. The new normal will become a dangerous place, and it will punish you, and you will suffer consequences if you do not organize for it. And that is why you must reset. Reset to thrive in the new normal. There are a number of things that you must reset. We call them the reset elements. And we have dealt with the first 5. Today we are dealing with reset your scales. Why must you reset your scales? First of all, I use the word scales there to mean measuring instruments. Measuring instruments. In other words, the tools or the systems or the approaches we use to measure what really matters to us, to determine what really matters to us. I have a statement there that what we measure is what we get. Yes, that's true. What we measure is what we get. Whatever is celebrated blossoms. In other words, wherever you allocate merit, therein people will put their effort and their energies to it. So you better be careful what you celebrate. Whatever you celebrate blossoms. What we measure is what we get. What does that mean? You get what you measure. What does that mean? If a CEO success is measured by the stock exchange, by increasing the numbers in the stock, guess what? The CEO will do his or her best to focus more on that, even if it's at the expense of other things. Here is another simple example. If if we say the employee of the month is the one who remembers a name tag whenever they come to work. Now, there's nothing wrong with the name tag, but if that's all we are using to measure who is the employee of the month, guess what? The majority, if not all the employees, will do their best to remember the name tag when they come to work. Even if they are doing that whilst they are late for work, even if they are rude to customers, even if they are doing a shoddy job, but you see, they remember the name tag because the employee of the month will be the one who remembers to put on the name tag. We are simply getting what we measure. But if you want people to come to work on time, maybe you should be saying the employee of the month will be the one who comes to work on time, will be the one who gets the best of their time, will be the one who is inclusive, will be the one who embraces diversity, whatever it is that you want to get, because what you measure is what you get. So, getting to the new normal, as we reset to thrive in the new normal, just from that statement only, you better be asking yourself a question. What do we want to get in the new normal? Well, measure that then, because what you measure is what you get. Put differently, what gets measured, get done. What is it that you want to see done in the new normal? Measure that. What is it that you want to see blossoming in the new normal? Celebrate that. What we celebrate is what we get. It's what will blossom. So basically, when we talk about what you celebrate, we mean what is it that you are going to reward? That which you reward, you will see more of it. So what are you rewarding? Are you rewarding individual performance, or you are rewarding team performance, or you are rewarding both? That which you reward, you actually are watering that seed, and you will see it blossoming. So there are a number of things that you need to, you can look at. Let's put it on the screen there. A number of things that may assist you to just determine what are the things that you are going to be measuring going forward. So for example, your manner of measurement. Are you measuring people in order to support them or to control them? And I'm saying, as we reset our scales, we need to become very aware that there are certain ways of measuring which are not useful. In many companies, you'll find that people, the way they measure people, they measure them in order to control them. And my suggestion is, measure them in order to support them. Use measurements for support and not for control. Another one, use measurements not to punish people, but in order to improve. So we should not use performance management systems in order to punish people, but we must use performance management systems in order to improve performance. We are measuring performance for the sake of improving, so that if we can identify gaps, then we'll be able to close the gaps. So we are not doing this thing because we are looking for people to punish, but we are doing this thing because we are looking for people who may have gaps that need to be closed. Another way of resetting in a smart way, when you reset your scales, resetting your measurements, it's really about making sure that it is a balanced way. So our measurements must be balanced. We call it balanced scoring. we have what we call a balanced scorecard. We'll find that organizations, they would look internally to measure the success of their organization without focusing on the external view. So there's got to be balance here. Both the internal view and the external view become important in measuring the success of your organization. And there are many more other things that we can be looking at. For example, are you rewarding the goal striker only, or you are also rewarding the person who created the opportunity for the goal striker to strike? Because sometimes when measurement scales or measuring tools or measuring approaches are not used properly, the very same thing that you thought would motivate staff actually demotivates staff. Because if someone has scored the goal and is the only one who is getting the reward, but you never actually recognize the fact that there are people who created the opportunity for the scorer to score. If you don't reward them, then they become demotivated. And guess what? Tomorrow, they can sabotage the success of the organization by just not creating the opportunities. Because they know that each time they create the opportunity, the one who gets the glory is the one who scores. And they are never recognized. So it's important, therefore, that we find a way of resetting our scales such that it works for us, especially in the new normal. So is it really about results, or it is also about contribution? Is it the one who is in the front that showed us the success or who made it happen, or we are also including those who contributed to the scoring of the goal? Basically here, it's all about recalibration. And let's conclude this segment by making a statement. And that statement is, when we are resetting the scales, we need to understand that it is even more than just resetting. Sometimes we actually need to get altogether new scales. In other words, we need to throw away some old measuring instruments. They were not right in the first place, or they were okay for the old normal, but they are not appropriate for the new normal. So there are two ways. There is either the scales themselves are not the right scales, so we throw them away and we get proper scales for the new normal. Or it is purely the recalibration, the resetting, which means we are using the same scales, but we reset them, we adjust them for the new normal. An example is that of a butcher scale. You know, a butcher scale, you can calibrate it to measure the weight of T-bone steak. So you can determine the price of this weight. And guess what? If you now want to determine the weight of, let's say, lamb chops, and you put them on the scale, but you have not recalibrated or reset the scale, it will give you wrong readings, and you end up allocating a wrong price to the lamb chops because you didn't adjust the scale. What I'm really saying here is that if the old normal was T-bone steak and the new normal is lamb chops, these are two different things. You may have the same scale, but you must now readjust. You need to reset the scale because now you are going to be measuring a different thing. The new normal has got new demands, new problems, new needs, new expectations, new regulations, new rules, and new standards, and new everything. Resetting of the scales is important as you get into the new norm. But like I've said, it could be that you just need new scales altogether. But also sometimes there's nothing wrong with the scale except that the crisis disturbed the scale. There was a shaking that took it out of the calibration. And that's all you need to do is just reset. Not because now we are changing from beef to lamb chops, no, but because the crisis disturbed it. So it's like a scale, a bathroom scale that you jump onto and you weigh yourself all the time. There comes a time when for some reason, the arm is not on 0. Even before you get onto it, it's not on 0. It's on 10. That means that there was a disturbance in the calibration. You may have to bring it back. So maybe somebody heavy just jumped onto the scale there and then disturbed the functioning of the scale. That is why it got out of line. So resetting means bringing it back to line so that when you get onto it, the measurement is correct. This is critical for an organization. At a personal level, you may find that, for example, you are a man and you have your wife, and 3 months ago, or let's say 2 weeks ago, it was her birthday, and you bought her a car as a birthday gift. And then 2 weeks later, guess what happened? This woman says, I'm fed up, I'm going home, I'm tired of you, you don't love me. And she cries. And then you go to her and say, come on, man. 2 weeks ago, I bought you a car. That's how I showed my love. How can you say I don't love you? She says, yes, you bought me a car. What I really need is not a car. I need you. What I needed was not a car. I needed you. You just bought me the car, but you are never there. So what is happening here? You'll find that as a man, you were using a wrong instrument to measure the progress and the success of your relationship. The measuring instrument was wrong. Or it was right because maybe it's giving, it's important. So you gave her. So yes, the instrument was giving, but you see, it was not properly calibrated. She wanted you to give her you, not to give her the car, to give her you. Maybe now you must calibrate. So you got into trouble. Your relationship went through a rough patch. She took fed up leave. She left you. And now you're trying to reconcile. And reconciliation means that you are now getting onto the new normal after the crisis. And I'm saying before you get onto the new normal, my brother, you need to reset the scale. Reset the scale. Calibrate it properly now. So that to appreciate her love, you're no longer going to be bombarding her with things. Now you know that as far as she's concerned, the relationship is more successful if you are there for her, not necessarily if there are things for her, but if you are there for her. Not if things are there for her, but if you are there for her. It's recalibration. So like I've said, sometimes you need a totally new measuring instrument, but sometimes it's the same instrument, but reset or recalibrated for the new conditions. I hope you have learned some few things on this segment. We are talking resetting to thrive in the new normal, and we're saying there are 7 elements that must be reset so that you can thrive in the new normal. And today we were dealing with resetting your scales, and we have one more to talk about next time. So please don't miss the next segment of Live to Lead program, because we are continuing with the Reset to Thrive in the New Normal series, which is a 7-part series, and we have dealt with 6, and we are left with 1. Thank you so much for joining us, and we encourage you to keep watching us during this time every Thursday, 3 o'clock, GNF television. But there are also repeats of this, so you can also watch it again. But you can also get it again if you want more of the same. Get it again on GNF YouTube channel and on our Facebook live streaming. These things get stored on our Facebook, so you can watch them. We also need your support. Let other people know about this, because the more they like us and they watch us, the more it translates into financial benefits, that finances that we really need for us to keep the television license operational. But of course, you can also send us your financial blessings, your financial support. The details are on the screen. Please do support us, because we really need your support. GNF as a church is a non-profit organization, but especially as a television, it's a non-profit organization, which means it really depends on the support that we get from you. And we appreciate your support, and that is why we pray unto God that God will bless you for honoring Him with your possessions, with your substance, and with the first fruits of your increase. May God bless you richly. See you next time.